Very well, 15 minutes past 9 in the morning. How are you doing? And in this particular hour, we bring to you our various topic discussions. And now we're going to look at actually how crime is increasingly happening around Kampala. And like we said earlier, across the country, but mostly around the city centers. And when you look at Kampala alone, a number of crimes actually are happening during this lockdown, ranging from violence, ranging in from theft, ranging in from maybe murder, and a lot of crimes. But for this particular one, we're going to look at theft around Kampala. We had earlier said this morning for how the Indian man was attacked by
14 gang, and you could see that at least the only good thing he was left to thank God was the fact that he was left with his life. And maybe even his border, he could easily access a nearby medical facility or try to even look for the police immediately to report the particular case. But then you could see that as we are heading into 4 days, we mentioned 4 days of the lockdown. As we are getting out of the lockdown, if I could say that before, you never know what will happen. What does the president have in mind?
Whether we're going into 42,
21 or 14, so you never know. As we try to cap the COVID-19 situation. Now, crime is yet another thing that is happening within the shortest time now. And within an events are happening within 1 week's time, that a number of cases are coming up, and which is alarming to everyone out there. Most of people living around the Kampala metropolitan areas, as well as the city suburbs out there, that you're supposed to now to stay alarmed. Because now it seems crime is everywhere, and people are now standing up. Recently, before that, you could see by the time when COVID came up, there was less reports when it comes to crime. And we even had a report here from the deputy spokesperson, Luko Isijire, where he had to hint on a few ideas that they have at least tried so hard to maintain crime during this COVID situation. But however, I still don't know why or whether the police has relaxed a little bit in terms like this, because in an area like that, a busy area, you could tell that maybe the police relaxed. We had no security personnel around the area, and one may ask, how on earth can a border carry two people?
Will have maybe security. Just to be also not blaming police, not to be.
No, okay, in most cases the roadblocks are around those junctions. You could see where the interloads, the different interloads.
Just like that's kind of a junction.
The junction, which has 3 roads around there, and also you can easily ask yourself, what on earth do we have borders during this lockdown, where the government was saying at least a border should carry 1 passenger who should be a sick person, and you could say
it's like he's trying to open the car, and
then we have another incident there where someone is trying to open to take something or carry. Most cases people carry the side mirrors of the cars, and if you could see, one of the most valuable.
He was actually stealing a side mirror. If they could show us again actually on that particular footage.
Because even one of even if you were to ask one of the car owners, people who normally drive Mercedes-Benz cars, they always have an issue with when it comes to side mirrors. Their side mirrors are very valuable, where in most cases people go and steal them off and take them to those used out, to take them to the garages and stuff to sell them off as well. So
yeah, and when you look at actually 2019, because the police safety report is not yet out for this particular year, but last year, that is 2020, actually police highlighted that the crime had reduced. If you remember why it had reduced, because this time there was a lot of how are they called? Banaba Green, the crime prevent. Not crime. No. How are they called?
But traffic office, Abambalabo green reflectors.
Green, never kuba allegedly. Oh, maybe
I've run out of.
It is skipping my mind, but if you could remember, they're not crime preventers. It's not LOD. How can you skip LOD? How can you forget an LOD?
So
the LODUs, because that was the time when actually LODU deployment was heavily, active into the country. That is why crime had reduced in the country, especially even around Kampala here.
Though they had to
in the night, at some point people had to complain because
so
they were turning out to be thieves. At the same time, sometimes they could beat for no reasons.
Because remember, when someone has control over you, that means you're going to get scared. That means they can easily get something from you.
But because the public complained about LODU and handling of their services, that is why the president came out to say
they had to disarm a number of them as well. Yes,
we're seeing more crime coming up actually, because LODs were helping police out, we're helping even some of the security personnel to actually carry on with crime prevention and keeping law and order, indeed, which was at some point really crucial, and it really brought positivity. But now look at what is happening around. Mostly now, I happened to go to town over the weekend actually. You find a number of, let me not say gentlemen, but the youth especially, and mostly are men on these streets, and these streets are ghost streets. They are very silent streets. I do not know why people actually are just sitting there. So a lot of people are sitting there. Honestly, there are people who you're walking and for near just physical look. These memes that go on social media. The problem with being ugly, everyone suspects you're a thief. Or the problem with maybe being idle, everyone suspects you're this. But at some point, what do you think?
There's a situation where someone will look at you.
What do you think we shouldn't take? Because Oitaku Street in downtown there, even in town, because now there are not quite a number of people. It's a ghost town like you were able to see Kampala as of now. When you go to some of the streets, Chikubos down there, some of the
because actually tomorrow
maybe a rural park, some of honestly, you have to be careful. Let me tell you, if you go into town, I do not know the reasons you have to go there, but if you have any reasons to go to town, because we have our South this time, there is no much police or security personnel or mugova.
Because actually tomorrow,
someone will just beat you and take the bag, and who will you alarm to? Ogenda kubendulu abaliwo bokaba sajja who are friends to the other person.
Definitely, because tomorrow, if you should stay here by tomorrow. Tomorrow there is a video we are going to show you of a Chinese man who made out over the weekend. He made a simple mini documentary about how life is in Kenya on the streets as well, and it could easily relate to the situation here in Uganda.
Probably
where he was targeting
watch it for
where he was targeting people who were he was targeting the gentlemen, the young men out there who always rob of people's phones during traffic jam. When you're holding your phone, maybe you're trying to do something, then someone just comes and snatches it away. So he managed to get a number of videos where he had a number of like 6 people, but with these 6 people having three other people working with them. So
working groups. Surely you'll have to stay with us for tomorrow. Maybe you'll have.
And you see how it is actually not only affecting Uganda, but even our neighboring countries. So the culture is always developing across the region. And in times of COVID-19, where some people think by taking what doesn't belong to them, by stealing from other people, is going to make them live a happier life, which is not good, and we are totally against it here at Smart 24, because we encourage people to come up with their own business ideas. They should come up with their own initiatives or innovations as well, so you can earn money in the rightful path, not taking what doesn't belong to you. Because remember, you never know what you've taken from a person. It may be the source of income, as also not only the source of income, but also what that particular person uses to help the family as well. Now, speaking of helping, we cross over to charity. What if you are out there and it comes to charity, what most of you get to know about charity is giving and serving. Giving may not only be in material, giving out material funds or monetary funds, but it can always be service, what you are willing to do. Now, last week on Friday, we were at the Sanyu Babies Home, where Sanyu Babies Home was receiving a donation from Uganda Bati. Take a look at this particular video here where we were talking to the director at Sanyu Babies Home. We will be back shortly. Here, the Uganda Bati as well as Sanyu Babies Home had an initiative that was to reconstruct and renovate the dormitories for the children here at Sanyu Babies Home. Now, joining me to sum up what has been an eventful is a representative from Uganda Bati. As you can see, this is a Uganda Bati. It seems it wanted us to identify, to mention it. Can you please introduce yourself to the people?
Thank you. I'm called Maclean Kukundakwe, marketing manager at Uganda Bati.
So you are the marketing manager at Uganda Bati. So how do you come up with this initiative? If you are there, I would want to know that. How did you come up to the initiative? Is it part of the plans at Uganda Bati to support?
Maybe just to give you a brief background about Uganda Bati. Uganda Bati is a superior quality provider of building solutions, and we've been in the market since 1964. Now, over and above providing materials for roofing, we also look at the communities in which we operate and how we can impact them. So we do a lot of corporate social responsibility activities, and these fall within our pillars that include health, education, environment, and shelter. Now, under shelter, we look at vulnerable communities or societies, and we then look into it and decide what kind of a shelter do these people need, and then we're able to provide. So Sanyu Babies Home approached us. They've had a roof that has been up since the 1920s. It's been there for over 92 years. So the roof has been leaking. Now leaking, and yet it's housing vulnerable little children. You know, this is an orphanage. So with the proposal reaching us, we had to definitely come on board and support them by providing them quality max cover sheets for them to house the dormitory in a good condition.
So I would mention the fact that first take us through the level of if you mentioned about the leakaging of those iron sheets. So where now, as Uganda Bati, which guarantee are you giving to Sanyu Babies Home with these particular iron sheets? For how long would they stay? Because we've mentioned about the fact that those are iron sheets that have been there since the early 1929, as when Sanyu was starting up. So which guarantee can you give maybe someone who's looking for an iron sheet from Uganda Bati as well, that this can stay for this time, the duration mainly?
Thank you. Now, we know that when you mention Uganda Bati, what first comes to your mind will be quality. So this is a quality max cover sheet, gauge 26. Gauge 26 means it is as strong as can be. It will withstand the wind, it will withstand any rains, it will withstand any harsh conditions that could come upon it. So it is definitely guaranteed to last a lifetime.
So meanwhile, now let's head into the money part of it. How is Uganda Bati gaining from this particular project, this particular initiative? Were you paid by Sanyu Babies Home, or it is terms and conditions?
No, this is totally unpaid for. It is a donation. It is a donation to Sanyu Babies Home. So there's been no payment for it. And like I mentioned earlier, we want to actually support Sanyu Babies Home beyond just the roof. We're going to look at the dormitory. What other requirements do they have? Is their plumbing okay? Is the electrical situation fine? So we're going to fully work on the dormitory beyond the roof.
Okay, now I would want to also put you again in another question here. How much does it cost, if we go into monetary terms, for a building of this nature? If someone is trying to purchase iron sheets to cover up such a building?
We have different roof sheets, different profiles. So each profile comes with its own price. So there'll be a price for Versatile, there'll be a price for Romantel, there'll be a price for Cover Max and Max Cover. So in this particular case, what we've donated is Max Cover. It gives maximum cover, meaning maximum width and the longest length. So you use less sheets in the end when you use Max Cover. So I would implore the audience out there, in case you have a need, you want to roof your house, just visit Uganda Bati at our head office on Murana Road, or go to any of our showrooms across the country. We're on Entebbe Road, we're in Mukono, we're in Masaka, we're in Jinja, Mbale, we are in Tororo, we're in Arua, Gulu. So any of our outlets. But also feel free to visit any hardware near you and ask for Uganda Bati. Now insist on checking for the stamp to make sure it is a quality product from Uganda Bati.
Okay, and also, how much did it cost Uganda Bati as let me say as an industry or as an enterprise to come up with such an innovation, an initiative rather, to give? This is because we're talking about charity here.
Yeah,
how much did it cost?
This donation for the roof itself, we are going to spend over 50 million shillings. Now, when we look at the other items that we might do beyond the roof, we're looking at between 70 to 100 million.
Items like, if you would mention, items like, apart from...
I don't know them yet. So
okay, but you're in process of coming up with that.
Yes.
So you said it's 50 million again and more.
Yeah, we can spend more if the need arises.
Okay.
Yes.
So it is a project, I guess, that started off earlier on in June. Because according to Mrs. Nancha, it did start off in June. So with your extending hand, how is Uganda Bati dealing with such initiatives across the country? Do you have any other initiatives that you've been engaging into?
Yes, we have a lot of initiatives that fall in our different CSR pillars. Under health, we have a Chandaria clinic that provides subsidized medical services. And in the time of a pandemic, the clinic is actually going to look at ways of supporting the communities nearby. So we also have initiatives under education where we offer sponsorships to some vulnerable children. We're in plans of coming up with a whole technical institute in a region of Tororo. And there are also initiatives we do, like I said, in the various pillars. So it's not just shelter.
All right, now, as with your final remarks to anyone out there who's looking for quality iron sheets or anything to do with the iron, what do you have to say about it before we eventually say goodbye to the viewers?
Yes, for anyone out there, like I'd said, if you're in need, you want to roof your house, you're looking for a quality roof product, do not hesitate to visit Uganda Bati and choose. There's a variety to choose from. Lots of different profiles, lots of different colors and different gauges. So it's a one-stop shop and you'll definitely get what works for you.
Okay, then lastly, let me just say lastly, what are the, because you've been identifying this as for a gauge, so which is the highest quality when it comes to iron sheets?
The quality, the highest gauge would depend on your requirements. Okay. Yes. So, but the market normally, depending on the different profiles, there's gauge 30, we have gauge 28, we have gauge 26, we have gauge 24 for heavy industrial purposes, and we can even get to gauge 22. It depends on your requirements. Okay. Yes. So whether residential, whether industrial, whether you're putting up a hospital, an industry, or your residential house, feel free to visit Uganda Bati and you'll get what you require.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you for sharing, Lynn, something about Uganda Bati to the viewers out there. So you've heard it from the managing director at Uganda Bati. So in case, not the managing director, the marketing director, manager of Uganda Bati. So in case you want anything to do with quality iron sheets, you definitely know where you're going to find them. You can even follow them up on the different social media platforms if you need that. For now, it's a goodbye for me. I'm Jerome Paul. Interview with Uganda Bati, with the public, rather the marketing officer in charge of the sales at Uganda Bati there, and she was giving us her what the initiative was with when it comes to charity, what they signed, or the deal they had with Sanyu Babies Home, as they were actually giving in their donation of iron sheets so that they can renovate the children's dormitories at Sanyu Babies Home, which was a good move. As we were telling you here, charity is one of the things that everyone would love to engage into, because it comes with a lot of blessings. You never know what will happen after you've given out something, and you never know how many souls you've touched, and how many souls you've changed, how many lives you've changed after just a single donation. It may be small, however small it may be, but it can change something. It can change someone's life. It can change journeys as well. It can bring happiness onto a soul that you can never know. So charity does start with you as well.
Sanyu Babies Home.
Yeah, they were children, but at that moment they were asleep, because these are children that are under 4 years. Yes, because according to the director, Mrs. Barbara, Miss Barbara rather, at Sanyu Babies Home, she said they only take care of children below the age of 4 years. So at that time you could say 4 years. So most of them, they were all asleep at that time.
Or I just taken my baby.
No, you're not supposed to take in a baby.
Of taking?
These are babies that are picked from the different disposable places, maybe toilets. Some babies are picked at rubbish pits, or some may be orphans, but then there is no one looking after them. But then it's not a guarantee towards musule because omtwale kusanyu mtwale mulabirire. No, it is not like that. That is why Sanyu normally comes out and says that these children deserve a family. Like any other person out there deserves being around people who love them. And you cannot, if you give birth to a child, you're supposed to make sure you take care of them. Be in position of at least giving them family as well as shelter and something to make them happy. By the time they grow up, they should be blessed and happy to have grown up under the welfare of their families.
Are there already children that are grown up, maybe they have jobs, they're working, or...
That have, yes, a number of them, because Sanyu Babies Home started in 1929, and it has been changing lives of children, and you could see that some of them have actually evolved into, however, none of the what we can call old boys or old girls were there that particular day, but then they keep record of their own children, because at the age of 5 years they have to let them go. And try to keep up, because different donations still come in, and different families also come in to help these particular people as well. Now, meanwhile, let's first get something from Sanyu, because we also got the chance to interview the director of Sanyu Babies Home to give us what they were expecting from that particular initiative, and also calling upon a number of other donators, or it cannot be maybe, you know, a huge donator, or anyone out there who is having the ability to donate during these times, because also Sanyu Babies Home has been greatly affected during this pandemic. Take a look. We'll be right back. And now, meanwhile, thank you for joining us in Smart 24 TV. My name is Jerome Paul Sonko, and whenever charity does kick in, it calls upon a number of issues. It calls upon a number of stakeholders to help in running charity organizations. But what we don't know is, how do charity organizations run these particular places as well? Who are the beneficiaries of these particular scenarios as well? And who are those stakeholders that input help into this charity organization? Now today, meanwhile, we are live at the Sanyu Babies Home here in Namirembe, and we are joined by the Sanyu Babies Home director to give us a hint on what is taking place today, and also what we expect from the day's programs today. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. You're welcome to Sanyu Babies Home.
If you would introduce yourself to the viewer there, so that they can get to know you and what you do and what your role is at Sanyu Babies Home.
All right. My name is Barbara Mtaguvia, and I'm the director of Sanyu Babies Home. At Sanyu, we take care of babies, abandoned babies, and those deprived of parental love from a few hours old after birth up to 4 years old. And most of these babies are often found in places like garbage heaps. A mother gives birth to a baby and places the one-day-old baby in a plastic bag and dumps it on a garbage heap. Some of the babies are rescued from the bottoms of the pit latrines, and by the time they get into our care, they are still drenched in waste and full of maggots, while others are left in bushes and actually rescued by dogs. You can imagine a dog trying to rescue a baby. It will use its teeth, and in the process they get to injure them. Some are left on the streets, some are left in buses or public vehicles, and many other places. So whenever they are abandoned, police contacts us and this becomes their new home.
So should we say it's only the police, or is there any other source that you have where you can easily get? Are there numbers, the different areas in town or maybe in the village settings where you leave your numbers for Sanyu Babies Home in case someone has found a missing baby who's not having a parent, who has been disposed of, or someone who's a child who's now having no parent at all?
We actually don't leave our numbers in the community because we don't want people to directly contact us. It's against the law. According to the law in the Children's Act, it's the probation officer mandated to place such children in child care centers or children's homes. So whenever somebody comes across an abandoned baby, they immediately report to the LC. We have that local leadership setting in our communities. Then the LC in turn will report to the police. The police will report to the probation officer, and then the child will be brought into Sanyu Babies Home or any other child care institution where that child can live, as investigations are done to find other relatives or places where they can live.
Okay, now let's kick into some history part of it. When did Sanyu Babies Home start, and how long has it been there for the time here in Uganda?
Well, Sanyu Babies Home is the oldest babies home in Uganda. It was established way back in 1929. That is 92 years ago. Even before
we got independence.
Exactly. And that is the time when so many missionary groups were in Uganda. And there was this particular group called the Church Missionary Society. For those of you who remember your SST in primary 4 and primary 3 and 6, several missionary groups came, and the Church Missionary Society settled on Namirembe Hill. So the missionaries established the hospital, the church, schools around, and in the hospital there was a missionary sister called Winfred Walker, who was working in the labor ward. And at that time, she realized that babies were being abandoned. Mothers would come to deliver and they walk away. Some mothers would come to the hospital, bring in their children for treatment, and they would just abandon them there and wouldn't return. So she started keeping them in her home and giving them much needed care and protection until the number became huge, that it was evident she couldn't handle them by herself. So that is how Sanyu Babies Home was established. And since then, the home cares for babies that have been abandoned and those deprived of parental love. However, as we take care of the babies, even though we've been here for 92 years, our hope is that child abandonment will stop. So at Sanyu, we believe that children belong in families and not institutions, not children's homes. We want you people out there to take care of your children. Don't abandon your children. We don't want to see them coming into such places. So even when a child comes into our care, we work so hard to ensure that we have them being reintegrated into community, either by reuniting them with their known relatives. That is a very difficult task. You know, tracing for a known relative of a one-day-old baby that was abandoned maybe at the Sanyu gate or in the middle of the city center at night, it's very difficult. But we have a team of social workers, very experienced and dedicated, that go out into the community and try to trace. But when we can't find the known relatives, we then place them in families for fostering and adoption. We therefore encourage you people out there, come and give these babies families, because we believe babies belong in families and not such places like Sanyu Babies Home.
Now, one may ask, how many children do you normally get if on an annual basis? Do you get quite a number? Do you have a number limit? Or how many children are you looking after at this particular moment?
Sanyu Babies Home at any one point is supposed to take care of 50 babies. That is the number the government approved us to take care of. Though sometimes, in times of crisis like this, during the lockdown, when everybody would think people are under lockdown, so even people abandoning babies are under lockdown, they don't. Instead, the number increases. So sometimes we are compelled to go beyond capacity because there is no space elsewhere to put the babies. So sometimes we have about 52, 56, 55, 48, 47, though on average every year, about 6-10 new children come into our care.
So do you have, at what age do you let go of these children, maybe to start off an independent? 4 years old.
Yes.
That is when you have you have people who are going to take care of them, or you've already stressed maybe their relatives or family?
As soon as the child comes in, our ultimate goal is to see them live in our care for the shortest period possible. So it doesn't mean that we are going to take care of them until they are 4 years. No. When a child comes in, our team immediately embarks on the duty of tracing for their known relatives, trying to search, doing social inquiries. And as soon as we find the known relatives, we are happy to work with them, establish if they are able and willing to take care of the babies. When I say known relatives, most of the cases we never find the mother that was responsible for abandoning the child or the father. We get to find people like grandmothers, uncles, aunties, and other living relatives that are always happy and willing to take on these children. But remember, child abandonment is a crime. So the person that could have abandoned the baby is probably with police because police managed to find them and they are still answering their case. But that doesn't stop us from finding other relatives. So when the babies come, we want to see them live in our care for the shortest period possible so that they go into families. Having children live in institutions or child care homes like Sanyu Babies Home has lots of disadvantages. That is why it's very important for each child to grow up in a family setting.
Now let's head into today's program here, and we want to get to know how about the initiative. What does it mean to Sanyu Babies Home, and who is in this initiative with Sanyu Babies Home, and what do you expect?
Well, today we are very delighted. Anytime a team from Uganda But is coming to officially hand over a donation of roof sheets that we are going to use to renovate the main dormitory of Sanyu Babies Home. If you see over there, that place that has been hoarded off, that is the main dormitory. And for so many years, like I told you, Sanyu has been here for so many years. It's a very old structure. The roof itself has been leaking for a long time. We've been trying to repair it until the technical people advised us to look for money and have a whole new roof and also do other renovations. So in 2019, we embarked on a campaign to look for money. At first, we were looking for 97 million. And 2020, we were unlucky that the lockdown came in and it disorganized us a bit. So we didn't stop. We continued fundraising, and early 2021, we got to a point where we felt like, yes, we now have the 97 million, we can get started. But that wasn't right. When we got on board the team of consultants, actually, these consultants have come on board doing work on pro bono basis. We have a structural engineer Samuel Sechisambo, an architect, Dr. Ian Senkatuka, a quantity surveyor, Mr. Tom Senfuma, and a mechanic and electrical engineer, engineer Sam Sentongo. They all agreed to come and work with us. So when they reviewed everything and looked at the structure, they revised the bills of quantities. From 97, it went to 200 million. But we were set and ready to start. Because every time it used to rain, we needed to push the children's beds out of the way of the raindrops so they don't get wet. And these are the babies that have been through a very hard, that they've gone through a very hard time. A baby that has just been rescued from a garbage heap. You don't want them to live in a cold environment. Some of them have stayed for so many hours out into the bushes where they've been abandoned, and you want to keep them safe. So that wasn't helping at all. We were determined to get started. We continued looking for support in a number of areas, and we approached Uganda Bati. The team was so good. They were very, very, very generous, and they agreed to give us all the roof sheets needed to renovate the children's main dormitory. So today is a very great day for us when we receive the donation that they promised.
Yes, that's where I was going to head to. So you had planning of 97 million Ugandan shillings. That turned to overshot to 200 million Ugandan shillings. Then luckily enough, you're getting a donation.
Yes.
So that means it's going to give you the whole sheets that you need to cover up the whole.
However, giving us the whole sheets doesn't mean that the bills of quantities is really going very, very low. Because at the moment, the team will, if they agree, they may tell us the value of the sheets that they are giving us. But in our BOQ, when we remove the sheets and leave all the rest of the things that are needed to be done, we still have a budget of 170 million. So we still need more money. People out there, come and give us money. We want to ensure that our children, your children, are living in a safe environment as you also plan to come and take them home.
Yes. Definitely I was telling people we need to call for charity. When the call for charity does kick in, a lot has to happen. We need to come together as Ugandans normally, because these are children, these are sisters, brothers, regardless of whether they were abandoned or not, and we need them to have a better living area. Like you mentioned, these are children below the age of 4 years, so that means they would need a very conducive environment. Talk about their welfare and their well-being becomes very understanding. It becomes very understandable for anyone out there who's into charity, because you mentioned about. So do you have any other, let me say, charity organization that have been donating in such initiatives when Sanyu Babies Home, or let me say, do you have any record of some other initiatives that have been happening here at Sanyu Babies Home?
Yes, so many people have always come to our rescue. So many people have supported Sanyu Babies Home because the home entirely relies on people's support. There is not any specific organization or institution that funds the home on a daily basis. So individuals donate, and at Sanyu we are happy to receive a donation of any kind, a donation of any amount, because it makes a difference. So individuals donate as small as 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, 50,000, and 20 million, and 50 million, or 100 million. So we are happy about that. But we also have a number of companies that come in and give, like you see Uganda Bat is here to give. When we started in 2019, for us to get to this stage, so many companies have given, so many individuals have given, so many churches, so many schools have given towards this project, and we are very grateful. However, we need more support.
So you definitely need more support. Now, before even let me say you give your final remarks on this particular issue here. So I want to understand. You mentioned about Uganda Bat coming on board early this year. That is 2021. And so when does the phase start? When is it starting? Let me say the renovation process.
Oh, the project has already started. It has already kicked off. On 28th of June, we signed a contract with a company called Cantilever Contractors Limited. We went through a very competitive tender process and they won. So we signed a building contract with them and we handed over the site to them. So since then, they have been on site. It is now 3 weeks already, and work is already ongoing. Like you see, the entire place has already been hoarded off and they're in there working. So the project has kicked off. We are very excited now with the sheets that are arriving. Anytime from now, you will see a whole new roof. But there are still lots of other things to be done inside. When you open an old building, you will realize that there are lots of things that need to be done. When you talk about electrical issues, mechanical issues, lots of things need to be done in there.
So you also mentioned about the fact that the dormitories were linking. So have you found any other place around here where, or inside the same facility here, where these children are now living, like sleeping?
Yes. Construction couldn't go on with children in the same building. Yes, so we had to shift the children to the extreme end. We have a school block. We have an arrangement at Sanyu Babies Home of Early Childhood Development and Learning. So every day we take children to school, to class. Even when there is lockdown out, this is our home. This is where we live. So we continue with our program. But now with the renovations going on, we've turned the classrooms into the dormitories. That is where the children are living. The main dormitory was not just housing children. It was housing other departments like the catering department, the laundry department, the stores, the clinic, everything was in there. And now with the little space we have, we had to make sure that we improvise to find space for each of these departments, and life continues. We are optimistic that the project will take about 8 weeks, and then we'll come back to a whole new building.
Okay, and lastly, how has this COVID-19 lockdown affected Sanyu Babies Home? Because it has at least affected a number of organizations, not only organizations, even businesses out there. So how have you coped up with the situation? Or have you even got a case of any COVID case here?
At Sanyu, we have not got any case of COVID among the children and the staff. However, it has greatly affected us. When people out are being affected, there is a big impact on us, because like I told you that we rely on support of people out there, and if they can't make any money, their businesses are closed, they can't even access Sanyu Babies Home, we are affected. We rely on donations. People usually drive in to bring donations in kind, donation of food, milk, sugar, clothes, and now they cannot come in. But also sometimes people drive in to bring in donations in cash, and people can't come in, even though we have other avenues through which people can give their money, through mobile money, through the banks. They don't have the money, so it has affected us a lot. And for some of you who are there and you still have some money, or you want to be a blessing, even with the little you have, you can still be a blessing to the children. Please come and give. Come and donate to the babies.
So you can give us your final remarks on the issue, and as well what you expect after this particular initiative and the programming that is happening today.
My final remark on the issue of today's program: we are very excited to receive Uganda Bati, and we are looking forward to receiving them any minute from now. But I also want to encourage other companies out there. I know that when lots of businesses went into lockdown, a number of companies out there are still making good money. Please come, choose to give back to Sanyu Babies Home. These are our Ugandan children. Let us take up the responsibility of supporting them. They are my Sanyu children. They are your children out there. Come and support us. Individuals, come and support us.
All right, thank you very much,
You're
Ms.
welcome.
Director.
Thank you so much.
Okay, you've heard it from the director of Sanyu Babies Home here. We are here today because we have an initiative taking place as Sanyu Babies Home together with Uganda Bati, as Uganda Bati is set to donate a number of iron sheets for the renovation of the dormitories, of the children's dormitories here at Sanyu Babies Home. As we, the media, as well as the people at Sanyu Babies Home, still urge the people out there, if at all you have the little you have, to come and support these children. You can please hand in your donations as well, or your support, be it material or monetary support. I'm Joram Paul Sonko for Smart 24, Namirembe.
Very well, thank you, Joram Paul, there for that exclusive interview with the director of Sanyu Babies Home. And very well, we also say kudos to Uganda Bati for their support towards their renovation project. And that makes us take a break, and we do return at the top of the hour with news updates onto our last hour.